Welcome back. Today is May 26, 2026, about 6 a.m. Uh, Today we're going to go over XDC Mainnet, ticker symbol XDC. So XDC is a crypto coin, and what we're looking at is this is another coin that isn't really following Bitcoin at the moment. It looks like it's about to start its bull run. So let's go over it by starting off with a higher time frame. So I'm going the monthly chart, and as you can see, since it's high in January of 2025 at about 15 cents, it's been in a downward trend. It did have a rally, and this is called a failed rally because it failed to make a new all-time high, and it rallied to 10 cents and then just continued to decline. Now it's at a point where it is the price has gotten very far away from the 50-day monthly moving average and the 20 monthly moving average. And so it's now trying to essentially come back up and get closer to these moving averages based on the monthly chart. So you've seen a little bit of price action this month, trying to do better. As you can see, it got to as high as 3 cents. It's retraced a little bit. It's now currently at about 3 cents here. But it is at a point where it is printing a larger candle than the last one. And it's not even finished because there's still 5 days left in the month. So this candle is not fully formed yet. So we don't know what's going to happen in the long term. But if we drop down to a lower range, so I'm going to go here to the daily, you can see on the daily that the 200-day moving average is moving down. But what is interesting is the reason why I say we may start getting into a bullish configuration is because if you look at the 20 moving average, it crossed down in August of 2025. And since August of 2025, it has not been able to get above this 50 moving average. This is a normal bull trend. And as you can tell, price, it sometimes gets a little over the 50, but it never really stays above the 50 for very long. It is essentially following the 50 moving average as it moves down. But now we're at a point where the two moving averages have started to condense against each other. And as you can tell here in May, specifically May 18th, the 20 crossed the 50. Now, it's just barely crossed the 50 at the moment. It hasn't convincingly crossed the 50. A more convincing cross is if it's up here and the 50 kind of stays around here. And if the 20 actually starts to cross the 200, that would be a great sign. But the reason why it appears that the bull run is starting is because let's go take a look at another chart. And what I have here is the relative strength index, the stochastic RSI, and the Modi flow index, and then the MACD. Okay, so let's take a look first at the relative strength index. As you can tell, I circled some points. These were the lowest prices of each bear and bull market. And as you can tell, uh, the lowest in December 2022, the RSI was about 44. In August of 24, the low was about 43. And now we're in 2026, and the lowest has actually printed its lowest point. And so if I expand this, it actually came lower than it has ever before to 41. So this means that during this entire history of XDC, we have reached the most closest to oversold that we've seen. Now, usually, if you dump down to like a daily time frame or a weekly time frame, you would see that the RSI actually gets below 30, which is the normal expected oversold marker. But the higher the time frame that you go up, you don't normally see the RSI drop that far. But on a monthly perspective, it has hit the lowest it has ever had. Next thing is the stochastic RSI. We are in essentially dead momentum, but if you expand this, you will tell that the stochastic RSI has made a cross up, but it's at 2.29. So it has a long way to go before it confirms over the 20 and confirms that we are starting a momentum push to the upside. Another thing to look at is look at the money flow index. On the same lowest date of the RSI, notice that it was below in oversold territory. But now it's starting to move above the money. It's starting to move above this oversold territory, hence starting to push. This is another sign that we may be close to a start of a bull run. If you look at the MACD, it's not convinced yet. It is still showing a bearish pattern. Uh, the histogram isn't really formed yet. But MACD typically lags behind RSI and stochastic RSI and the money flow index. So this is more of a it takes longer to confirm on this particular indicator. So it's not ready to say, hey, something's changing. So this is all really good news for XDC. This, it could be. I mean, so where do we go from here? What do we want to look out for? So what I'm seeing is it could be that this candle dumps and it's just a little pause for a continuation down. There's nothing to say that the RSI could go lower than what it has, but it is in an area where there isn't much more downside left. So if this is a coin that you're interested in investing in, uh, I would say now is probably a good time to dollar cost average, but that's just me. To be fair, I am just an amateur. I am not a professional trader. I have a day job, and I just enjoy trading, just watching the charts and trying to get better at it. I'm not a mega guru, but this is just what I'm seeing. I think XDC would be a good choice. Another thing I want you to notice is that the last bull run for XDC only lasted 3 months. So that means that if you aren't positioned before the bull run actually starts, which this could theoretically be the start of a bull run, uh, if it gets to close to the same, if it gets close to the same area that it did last time, which was 15 cents, it's going to do it in a relatively short time period. I don't know if it's going to be 2 months, 1 month, 4 months, but as you can tell, this isn't a slow grind to a new high. It will probably be pretty quick, and therefore you'll have to make a decision pretty quickly at what point you're going to want to sell. So if this truly is the start of a bull run, then what we would look for is if we dump to the daily, first of all, we'd want this monthly candle to stay green, and we'd want it to close maybe a little bit higher, convincingly with the body, and not have this large wick here. On the daily chart, well, we can go the weekly chart. We just want to see another green candle start to post, essentially here. And as you can see on the weekly chart, we want to see this RSI start getting bigger. The stochastic RSI is already in oversold territory, but it is not unnormal, especially since the volatility on XDC can be high. It may meander around this top area above 80% for 2 or 3 months, and then you have your all-time high. But the momentum does appear to be increasing. The money flow index, on the weekly chart, it's already crossed to about halfway point. It's decreased a little bit, but again, depending on what the coin does, this this candle, for example, is not printed. It has 5 more days. On the MACD, you can tell that it thinks something's changing. You can see that it's already starting to rise. So in the lower time frames, like I said, you're starting to see XDC point to being more bullish. And then finally on the daily time frame, what you would want to see is you'd want to see this 20 moving average. This is the 20. Keep in mind that these moving averages are not simple moving averages. This 200 is a simple moving average, but because of some other indicators that I have, I don't put the simple moving average. I got this all-in-one moving average indicator, but it does EMAs instead. Uh, to not make it confusing, uh, this is the 21 EMA on the green. The yellow is the 50 EMA. You'd want this 21 EMA to convincingly go above the 55 EMA, and you would want to see a golden crosser, or essentially the 55 crosses 200, and that would definitely confirm that the bull market is coming. So that's what I would look for in the next few days. I hope this video helps, and I hope that you have a blessed day. Thank you.